So I've done just over 4,500 miles on this bike, and I've just changed the tyres for the first time. These bikes come with Metzeler Tourance Tyres, I think they're called. They're alright, but they're nothing to write home about. I'd just got to a stage where I'd squared the rear tyre off a little bit, because unfortunately I commute and do quite a bit of motorway miles. I'd had a couple of sort of moments that, to be fair, are probably environmental things, gravel and things like that, but I just lost a little bit of confidence in the tyre. And then, quite literally, the final nail in the coffin was a nail in the rear tyre, so that was enough for me to think, right, it's time to change tyres. So what tyre did I go for? Well, there's a lot of choice. I wanted to keep the off-road ability of a tyre. I wanted to do a little bit of off-road. I don't intend to do anything serious. I've got the CRF for that, but I just wanted to keep the option of gravel tracks, fire roads, stuff like that. I would quite like to do Forest Drive and Raiders Road and stuff like that up in Scotland. So I wanted to keep some off-road ability, but I didn't want to sacrifice too much road ability because, let's be honest, 99% of the time I'm going to spend this on the road, if not more. I'm going to spend it on the road, and because of the nature of this bike, it needs to be a good road tyre because I do lean on them quite a bit. So I didn't want to go with an 80/20 tyre. So I ended up going with a Metzeler Tourance Next 2. They seem to be a good balance of road ability with a little bit of off-road ability. And actually, one of the things that sort of drew me to that tyre over some of the others in the sort of 90/10 option was I saw some reviews that were saying that the off-road tyre was closer to an 80/20, in terms of its off-road ability without sacrificing the road bit. So it's kind of like a 90 road and a 20 off-road, and I thought, well, that is a real sweet spot. So that's why I ended up going for this tyre. In terms of fitting the tyre, I did it myself, it's fairly straightforward. There's no more tighter or looser than any other tyre. And balanced up pretty well. So what about the important bit? What are they actually like on the road? Well, so far so good. I've done a few hundred miles on them now, so I've well and truly scrubbed them in. And done a bit of everything, so a bit of motorway work, a bit of A and B roads, been out in the wet, and done a tiny bit of gravel stuff as well. And yeah, so far absolutely hitting the mark. In terms of quietness and smoothness, absolutely superb. That's another reason to go for a 90/10 tyre instead of an 80/20. Generally, the more off-road focused the tyre is, the noisier it's going to be, isn't it? And the less smooth it's going to be. So this 90/10 hits that sweet spot where it's still smooth and it's still quiet, and certainly this tyre is exactly that. It's very predictable. It's got a really nice profile on it. It's very natural to turn in. You don't feel like you're falling off a cliff where you hit a certain point. It naturally tips in. So I love the way it feels on the bike. And yeah, really smooth, really quiet. Something some people have sort of mentioned with this bike is the speed wobbles, which is where if you were doing say 30 mile an hour and you let go of the bars start shaking to death. And yes, mine did that. Generally wasn't a problem because generally you don't let go of the bars, do you? But I remember it doing it. I remember it doing it once and thinking, what the hell? And it was fairly consistent, so I can show you on here now. If I set cruise control to 30 or 29, there we go, and I'll let go. And this obviously isn't the smoothest of roads, but as you can see, super stable. So if you've got one of these bikes and you get speed wobbles through the bars, you just need to change the tyres. It's something about those tyres and this bike that sort of causes that. And I've done the same on the motorway, cut to that now. And here you go on the motorway, as you can see, absolutely fine. No speed wobbles. All good. Nice and quiet, nice and smooth. Boom. There you go, so that's the sort of off-roading I wanted to do. Probably not much more than that. You know, this is a sort of road, a sort of track you can get, you know, get in the middle of nowhere, you know, the road less travelled and all that. And as you just saw, they performed really well. So there you have it, the Metzeler Tourance Next 2s. Like I say, I can't comment on longevity. I need to live with a tyre. I need to get some few thousand miles on them. But once I've done that, I'll report back to you and let you know how many miles I managed to get out of them. But for now, hope you enjoyed that one. See you in the next one.